How's it going, everyone? Ponyo here. Welcome to another evening of After Dinner Mints, the art blocks. Today we have a fantastic evening with DanDan DCA, and then also another special guest, Loren Bednar, talk about their project Traversals. So without further ado, and also I apologize, we also have Snowfro here, our esteemed art blocks creator and founder. And
What's up, guys?
without further ado, I just want to go ahead and introduce DanDan DCA. And, DanDan, just to kind of kick things off, you're an OG Art Blocks artist. You were one of the first. There were three projects when Art Blocks initially launched. It was Chromie Squiggles by Snowfro, Construction Token by Jeff Davis, and then you started the Genesis project as your very first project on Art Blocks. First off, what was the moment when generative art clicked for you, and how did you learn about art blocks?
Yeah. Well, first off, thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here. I'm a big fan of After Dinner Mints, and it's been fun watching these episodes. Yeah. So when did generative art click for me? I want to say maybe around 2017 or so. I mean, really not that long ago if you think about it. I've dabbled with code for a while, maybe since 2012 or so, just playing with websites, HTML, PHP, that kind of stuff. And then at some point, I started playing with Arduinos, and Arduinos led to processing, and then processing, I started to learn basics of code. But sometime around, I don't know, 2017, was that 3 years ago, 4 years ago? Something sort of clicked, and processing made a lot more sense, and I was seeing all these visuals that were generative that I was able to produce with just little bits of code, and I thought, oh my god, this is really cool. This is different and interesting. And then from there, things progressed a little bit more to where coding is now a big part of my practice. Not just generative art, but also my personal art practice, which is I'm a sculptor. I just got my MFA from University of Houston, and my a lot of my art now incorporates some sort of digital element that is code based. So yeah, it just kind of grew slowly from a few years ago. That's where my interest sort of came.
Cool. And then how did you learn about art blocks? I actually just learned today that your brother is Eric, or is Snowfro. I don't think a lot of people knew that.
This guy right here. Yeah, we definitely we've been talking about stuff like this pretty much every time we meet. I got to hear the first incarnation of art blocks. Go ahead.
I'd say that Daniel has unfortunately had to bear the brunt of rambling of art blocks. I mean, between him and my wife, and then a few different friends, I sometimes think back in horror of how much I would just be talking about it for so long. But he at least he cared enough to write a script, which was pretty cool. So let's go on.
Yeah, there'd be times when we'd be at dinner or something, and the conversation would turn to crypto, and my girlfriend would just kind of roll her eyes. Oh, here they go. There's no stopping this train. So I don't know. It's all been just incredibly insightful conversations and just crazy awesome ideas, and it's just this never-ending flow of crazy stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been I feel like a wild ride. Obviously, Art Blocks has only been open for about 6 months now, and a lot has changed. So your first project was Genesis. How did you come up with the idea for this project, and what was your inspiration?
So I guess it was sort of also around 2017. I think it was the fall maybe. Eric had sort of reached out and said, hey, I've got this idea. I want to do this thing. It involves arts. It involves blockchain. It involves QR codes and these sort of installation things, and it was a just like brilliant but crazy idea, and so he wanted me to just kind of, I guess, be there, just like artistic support and just to bounce ideas off of, and so it turned out that he wanted some sort of like a proof of concept for this system that he was building, um, and that's sort of where Genesis came from. That day I remember he was like, "Hey, can you do something like this?" And I was like, "Yeah." I went home. I started playing with processing because I had just started playing with it, and I put together this thing with these shapes and these colors. And before I realized it, like every refresh, because like in processing, you sort of refresh or replay the script to get a new image. Every composition was like pleasing in a way. I had really soothing colors and lines that would just fall in the right places, and from there it sort of just I bounced it back and forth to Eric and his team a few times, and I remember at one point we were looking at Genesis, I think it was 2018, and it was reacting to every new Ethereum block hash that was basically being what do you call that, like posted or not mined, but recorded on the blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
mined. I'd say mined works.
Mined.
Yeah, every time they mined a new block, there'd be a new block hash, and it was listening to an endpoint with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like that was a real cool moment. Like all of a sudden, there's this generative script that's completely autonomous, and it's constantly just changing images in relation to this this blockchain system that's happening all over the world or whatever. And then and so like that happened, and things kind of went from there. And then I want to say maybe another year passed, and then Eric said, "Hey man, like I'm going to do this thing with NFTs," and our blocks had been evolving and adapting throughout this whole time, and then around just recently, like 2020. He said, "Hey, can you like adapt your Genesis to this JavaScript thing and that I'm doing?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I wasn't really even like all that, because I was busy with my MFA degree. I was like about to graduate. I'm like working on my thesis, so I didn't put a lot of attention into blockchain at that time. And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, here it is." And then he like sort of said, "Hey, man, you might want to check out this, like look at this art blocks thing, because." I mean, it went live, but I didn't really know what was going on, So I was just like, "What? Like, how did you somehow?"
I mean, it's why you don't have number 0, because I like deployed it for you and like started it for you. I think he was really, really busy. I remember I started it and I was like, "Oh crap! Like, people are minting this shit."
Oh, so you haven't given him mint 0, or is it still in your wallet?
Someone else got it, and then DC Investor bought it. I guess like
wow.
a couple of months into it. Yeah, he got it. He paid a beautiful price for it, and like I think that might be the only number 0 that's not with the artist. Maybe one of PXQL's was auctioned off as well, but yeah, no, I think most number 0s are with the artist. Sorry, Danny.
No, it's totally cool. But, I mean, it's just a crazy experience, that whole beginning of Art Blocks moment.
Yeah, because it happened on, was it the day after? It was like Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. So was it something where you guys all? I don't know if you guys were in the same, like visiting each other and this, like having Thanksgiving together, but like how did it? Like, can you tell me about like the actual launch? Like, were you guys like, was it scary, or did you have a lot of issues? Or I mean, it's got to be like nerve-wracking, I assume.
Yeah, Danny, how was the launch?
I mean, it was definitely surreal. It was like, yeah, just I mean, I looked at my laptop the night before. I was like, this is, my brother's been doing some crazy things. He's always got these crazy ideas. Like this might, this is cool. I want to be part of this, but I didn't understand NFTs fully at the moment. I thought this, nothing's going to happen here. And then I woke up the next morning and he's like, I think he texted me or something. He's like, hey man, have you seen your Genesis script? And I'm like, no. I looked at it and I was like, holy shit, like what the hell happened? Like more than half of them had sold in like the first 10 minutes or 15, 20, I don't know what it was. And then I didn't know about Discord either. So the coolest thing of it all was like, he was like, hey, yeah, man, like you should go on Discord and like, see how people are reacting to this project. And so I went on there and I realized there's this whole community, of collectors, of NFT enthusiasts, of blockchain people, crypto people, just like actively digesting, consuming all this awesome stuff. And, and that was just like incredible. I mean, incredible.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's obviously changed a lot, over time, but were you happy? I mean, obviously, with things selling out pretty fast, were you guys, when would you realize, that you're like, all right, this has potential to just go in so many different directions and take off?
Well, I think, immediately afterwards, I was definitely ecstatic just as an artist, because I'm over here as like before NFTs and stuff, how artists were really like working really hard, not making much money, just kind of always getting the short end of the stick, especially like at the university level, there's a lot of competition and whatnot. But so like immediately I was like, okay, this is incredible. Like the whole world needs to know this. And I'm an academic person, so in my mind, I got like the university needs to know, like students need to know about this, so they can start studying and start learning this stuff and like be able to like benefit and reap the rewards of creating new kinds of work and new mediums and all that. So like, immediately I was just really excited and like I could see all this potential. And then when I really started reading up on the art history side of things, I realized, oh my God, like this has been in the making for the last 30 years, just completely under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
These artists have been in the 60s, they picked up generative art, they explored it in incredible ways, really pure and honest ways, because a lot of those guys were scientists or they were mathematicians. They weren't necessarily, artists seeking to create, studying art or studying form and all that. And so at some point, after reading up on that stuff and sort of making the connection to like what happened between the 70s and 80s, and then all of a sudden here we are, NFTs and generative art is center stage. Like this is the new medium. This is the new thing. That's when making that connection was like, wow. Like I think Art Blocks just made history in a way.
Yeah, it's gonna make history, especially with the big auction house Sotheby's in the next few days. So that'll be something I'm sure you and Snowfro, everyone's looking forward to. I think it's just gonna be a fun time. Everyone I think is really excited for all you guys, and it's just it's just great for the generative art community in general. So definitely looking forward to that.
Totally.
I got a question. So for Genesis, was that the first time you integrated the hash into your code to generate an output?
That was the first time. Yes, mostly because Eric was basically able. He had the JavaScript and be able to make that connection with the generative script and the endpoints. And so before that, I would say that I was interested in not necessarily a hash string from a blockchain, but rather just a string, like a randomized string, which is basically, you call that a hash string too. But I was sort of interested in the hash string irrelevant of the blockchain tech. Like I could see that this random string of numbers and letters was capable of creating a huge amount of outputs, and also like the very low chance of collision, of like the same the same hash string being generated twice, just because of pure permutations and combinations or whatever. It's so rare that there was a lot of interesting potential there. And so even before Genesis, I want to say maybe like a couple of months, because I just picked up processing at that point. But I was playing with like making these Mad Lib generators where, it puts together a randomized string, and then that string generates this little statement of like really stupid, nerdy things. And just kind of playing with that, like I could always see that there's something there in the hash string.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah.
So moving on to Gen 2, which was your first playground project, that's a dynamic visual composition. Can you tell us more about that project, and then also the inclusion of Mario? Because I know that was like a kind of a fun Easter egg when that popped up.
Yeah, sure. Gen 2 is it's more of a visual thing. Just kind of okay. So first off, I was raised in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So like video games. I was inspired by Nickelodeon, Slime, things that were just colorful and just bits and weird sort of 90s stuff. I don't know, Lisa Frank, whatever, right? I had some Lisa Frank stickers. All right, I admit it. But Gen 2 was just sort of like this. It was more about just creating something visually striking and maybe like has some interactivity to it and a little bit of motion. I also am interested in just, this is like, I guess, separate from blockchain stuff, but I'm interested in gardens, in Chinese gardens in particular. And there's this idea where no matter where you stand in this Chinese garden, the pagoda that's in the distance will always have like either trees covering it or a wall covering part of it. So you can never really see the full thing. So it's kind of like there's a veil in front of it, and that sort of entices you to want to know what's behind it, or where to approach it and go and sit under the pagoda. And so with Gen 3, with Gen 2, I sort of tried that a little bit, just kind of playing with this screen, like hiding it, sort of hiding this weird form, this weird hiding that, and then sort of revealing it, like you as the like the viewer.
It looks like we might have. It looks like we lost Dan for a moment, which is totally fine. We're going to go ahead and move on momentarily to Loren Bednar, and they're going to talk about their project Traversals. Loren, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Am I live?
Am
I all good here?
Yep,
Awesome.
You're all good.
Cool.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about your project, how you got into generative art, and
Oh, sure.
it'd be great to learn about it.
Yeah, so my first generative art stuff started about 1992. I was playing with Logo on my Atom computer. Just playing with, use it to make spirographs and all that. But that was kind of the first generative art tool. It was really fun. And then fast forward 10 years, started using Flash, 2002, 3. And yeah, just kind of went from there. Lots more opportunities to do generative art with Flash, and yeah, used that for a very long time. Started using processing about 2 years ago. Yeah, so that's it in a nutshell. I think Dan's back. If you want to jump over, I can just go for a couple minutes.
No, we can go ahead and finish up with you. I mean, you're
Okay.
in the groove, and we would just love to hear about your
Yeah.
project, and we'll move back to DanDan in a moment.
Yeah, right on. So with Traversals, I was kind of exploring this idea of a shape maker, something that could make different polygonal shapes emerge. And I didn't want to use standard polygon math, like you start with a set of points and then you use trig to create whatever that shape is, and then offsets and nonsense. So what I wanted to do was, using the incoming hash, is create kind of a subgrid of points and then draw segments between those points. And then where those points intersect, it makes a pool of available points. And so another part of the hash was figuring out which of those pools would be used for the actual work. And the effect of that was really cool. It gave like asymmetric shapes and non-standard shapes. And I'll just go through some of these real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are current mints from your current project, correct?
Yep.
Great.
So the colors, I broke them up by group so I could have a pretty cool blend of them. I've considered fixed palettes, but if you have seen these, it's really important to me that the colors can blend between families, so blues to greens, etc. So this first one, it kind of surprised me a little bit because the shapes were broken up in the middle. The other forms kind of all have a consistent shape and body, and I thought this was cool that it had gaps. That was pretty sweet. This one, I loved how minimal it was. A few of this style have popped up, and they're just so pleasant. You know, it's a single color, light background. I love them. So this 26 desaturated, there's a few desaturatids that popped up, and when I was developing it near the end, I gave an interaction point. So you could click or hit a key, and it would cycle through these lights. It would kind of give a lighting effect to the different shapes that came out. And one of the techniques I used for that was resaturating the image, which on the other ones, it made it like give a light sparkle. But with these, it actually recolored it. So I kept that in. I'm not going to show the effect, but you guys can play at home if you want. But it kind of gave a colorized version of it, and it just looked so fun. And then this one surprised me, because in order for this to happen, the absolute minimum amount of points can occur. So to see a solid standard polygon emerge from this mishmash of possibilities was fantastic. So cool. This one was today, and I loved how there was a plain base and then this really complex part near the top right. Seeing those kinds of things just surprised me. I love the wide range of possibilities, and it's just been really cool. One of the things that I wanted out of this project was to avoid random numbers and come up with a fixed set of rules that I could kind of follow and then actually hand plot. So one thing I'm hoping to do once this kind of wraps is actually publish and then start producing some of that work by hand. The struggle that I'm kind of having is how to blend the colors, but I think it could be really cool just to see it manually done.
Yeah, definitely.
That's about it for me.
Were there any, I'm curious to know actually, were there any bugs that you've noticed so far in the outputs? Or has everything kind of just been, I mean, I know the mints you've showed have definitely surprised you, but were those, possible to begin with, or is it something that shocked you?
Well, that's the quirk about this project. There's so much that can happen. I've seen such different stuff than even when I was doing local mints. It's I don't know. It's just really cool. I'm really happy with how broad these can get. I haven't really seen duplicates. I've seen some similarities. I think the funny thing is there's a few styles that haven't shown up yet, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. And when I was building locally, one of the fun ones that I found were ones that look like birds. I've only seen one that kind of has that look. There's been a lot of mountains, a lot of gems, and I love seeing those things come up, but I'm excited to see some of those secrets. Yeah.
Cool. And was the animated part, like I know you said that when people click on these mints in live view, then, they kind of change colors.
Yeah.
Was that something you've always had from the get-go? Like you always
No,
figured
it was originally static, and while I was in curation, I wanted to add some extra flair while I was fixing a bug. There was a scaling bug that was showing up with smaller resolutions, like the stroke was not set up properly. So in that time, I kind of refreshed some of the code and then added those interactive elements.
Cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, we appreciate you, sharing your project Traversals. Is there anything else that you want to include and just kind of let the community know about?
Not really. I'll drop my Twitter link in the Discord in a bit, but
cool.
I really appreciate the opportunity to talk. This has been incredible. ArtBlocks is a fantastic platform. I feel incredibly lucky to be participating in it. It's an awesome community.
Well, we appreciate you being here tonight and sharing your project, and we look forward to seeing many more mints as the hours and days go by.
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're lucky to have you, Loren.
Oh, thank you. Bye all.
Cool. All right. We'll go ahead and transition back to DanDan. Are you here? Can you hear us all right?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for tuning back in. So your second project, I think you got cut off, and I wanted to know actually about the Mario. That's kind of like a fun Easter egg, and I think a lot of people were surprised. Is that like a video game that you love, or what's the story behind that?
I mean, yeah, of course. I don't know, like I love Nintendo games even still today. Like when I get a chance to play them, I like them better sometimes than like awesome Xbox games too, So I don't know. I just thought I'd throw Mario in there and Link. I'll just like originally I had a whole bunch of NES characters. Like I had Mega Man, I had Contra, just like little icons and elements from each game. But I don't know, like I felt this sort of weird like copyright fear at the last minute, so I changed it up. I changed Mario's colors. I redrew all the other, like there was all these mushrooms, like 1-up mushrooms and hearts and stuff like that. So I just kind of tweaked them a little bit, redrew them in my own style. Just changing pixels here and there and making sure that there were no copyright issues. And so I just basically ended up with Mario, Link, cherries from Super Mario Brothers 2. There's the hearts just from Legend of Zelda. There's there's the Ethereum logo, of course, because you gotta have that. Yeah. And then I think there was there's something else. Like it's, my mind goes blank when I try to think of things on the spot. But there's something else, and So I was inspired by comic cards, like early '90s hologram cards. In fact, the Marvel masterpieces, those cards are called Spectra. That's why I called them Spectra. And so like I wanted to get that feeling of like when you open up a deck of cards and you're hit with like this sort of multicolor foil glint in your eye. Like when you get the Mario or the Link or the Zelda or the heart or the cherries, you're gonna feel special. Like you're gonna feel like you just got something awesome. And in my opinion, I think they are awesome. So
yeah, I think it's very cool. What about the the animated piece to it? Like when you click, I believe if you click on the mint in live view, then it kind of just like opens up a curtain essentially, and it reveals another element to it.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was mentioning earlier about the garden. Sort of like the thing is obscured. You can kind of see it through as if it were in a garden. Right? You can kind of see it through the leaves. You can see the pagoda through the leaves of the trees, or right behind the wall. And so, there's something there. You're curious. You want to reveal it, and it's like that revelation of just like, this colorful, crazy form hiding behind this, this veil of pixels.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of, like where that's going. And then also, talking about Easter eggs, there's one more Easter egg in there that some people have found. But if you click on any of the Gen 2s, I think it's 20 clicks, then you'll get a whole bunch of confetti just falling from the top.
I had no idea. I'm sure a lot of people, I'm definitely going to go back later on and click on a couple of those. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, so you did you're currently on your second Playground project called Gen 3, which is the final installment of your Gen series, which is like a fun, playful project that uses word combinations. It's kind of like reminds me of the Mad Libs that you were talking about. Was that the inspiration for that project?
Definitely. I started playing with hash strings using words. And so I thought, okay, I need to do a project that uses words. Looking around at other NFT projects, I didn't see a lot of words, like a lot of text, a lot of written word. And then I realized it's because, like nobody's uploaded a font or whatever to the blockchain. And like that would cost a lot of money. And so how do I overcome that? I can't just create this project that uses words where every single person's view of it is going to have a different font. Because if you just use a system font, then you're kind of facing with this like inconsistency. And so, like the first hurdle there was, okay, I need to create my own script, like my own font. And I basically did that just using lines and curves and, just semicircles and pi this and pi that. So that took care of it. But then that was like this huge chunk of code at the end of my script that was like, it's going to be expensive to upload that. But apart from that, the project is really, it's really about language, and it's about playing with language. It's about playing with syntax, the structure of language, the meaning of of words. Like, what are words? Words are already abstractions. It's sort of like this weird abstract thing where you put certain word combinations together and all of a sudden you have a new meaning, a meaning that we've never experienced, one that possibly never existed up until this moment. And that, like, it's sort of like creating a new understanding of something, even though some of them may be very nonsensical and or funny or kind of weird. It's really about that. It's about using the blockchain and the block hash to traverse the literally millions of combinations of words that you could, or phrases that you could create with just 3 lines, three words. And I did the math, and so there's 256 words per line, unique words per line, and so there's 16,707,216 possible phrases that you could get, and they're all unique. So the chances of getting 2 in edition of 1028, I think, is pretty slim.
Yeah. Where are these words being pulled from? Is it something where you had to take all those words and like put them in the script, and I guess it kind of just like randomly generated, obviously based on the hash?
Yeah, absolutely. These words they're built in.
Yeah.
And I think it must have taken at least 4 to 4.5 weeks to come up with so many words. I mean, there's 768 total words. Wow. And I want to say like maybe at least 300 of them relate directly to what we're doing, generative arts, coding, blockchain. Another 200 and something of them relate to just computers. And I really like the words that relate to like the destruction elements of computers, like erased memory, or like corrupted or corroded, burnt, like burnt hard drives, or things like that. Just like words that talk about computers. Also, words that are just about like roles that people have. So, like for example, accountant, or trader, or collector. Or I guess this one says tweeter. Just like basically roles or identities of people that are sort of playing with blockchain, playing with technology, playing with computers. So in the end, it sort of becomes this tongue-in-cheek sort of description of an identity that perhaps somebody might fit that category, but also maybe nobody does. But it's sort of like creating. It's about creating these weird meanings.
Yeah, I think there's just so many fun combinations. Druid in the Art Blocks chat right now, he posted probably one of my favorites. It's devoted Art Blocks IO seeker. And I mean, there's just so many fun ones. Like Jeff posted one. It said programming future admin. I mean, the combinations are just like endless. And I think whenever I think those pop up inside the, the Art Blocks Mint feed, then like people just have a laugh. I mean, it's just hilarious, some of these combinations.
Like I have no idea what the next one's gonna say. Like there's so many that I haven't seen because there's 16 million. And even like during testing, I must have gone through, I don't know, like thousands. And I can't remember seeing the same one pop up twice.
That's awesome.
So like it's really incredible, just like how the blockchain can produce so much.
Yeah.
Or the block hash, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there like a favorite? Is there a favorite so far that's come out of the Minter that you want to share?
Yeah. I mean, I have to kind of look and sort of pick and choose.
Danny, I'll interrupt you and say Mac was asking what I don't know if you can read the chat.
Oh,
but it says, tell us about the words you took out. Because I remember reaching out to you and being like, hey man, like, I'm not sure how I feel about some of these words. Like so far,
Right.
He's pretty PG.
Yeah.
And I hated doing that too, because I was like, man, this is pretty rad. But I mean, it was pretty hardcore at the beginning.
Yeah. So of course, like speaking of Easter eggs, I thought of it, but I didn't do it. Okay. I didn't embed a secret, like X-rated version in there, but the thought did cross my mind. It did. But before, I had some more, some words that were maybe more abrasive, but in a fun way. I mean, it's about having fun with ourselves, and like how the media is always like laughing at NFT people because they think we're wasting all this money or doing some, like these are sort of, I had some words in there that maybe like that's what people would probably call us.
Yeah.
But I took those out, on Eric's recommendation, and he's actually right. Like it should. I definitely tuned it down a bit, and it's just, yeah, it's the same with or without cuss words in it. It's even
we'll have an NSFW Art Blocks eventually. We just have to go down that legal rabbit hole, I guess, and maybe on a separate contract. I'm sure we could have all sorts of fun on that.
I think that would be a lot of fun to do. Even if it's like maybe you do a limited edition of just like 20 of them, and then maybe like it's only open up to people who own like the Gen 3 Mint or something like that.
Gen XXX.
Yeah.
Gen XXX. Yeah. There is a project that'll come up, I guess maybe in the next couple of months, that's going to have a little bit of nudity in it, and it's pixelated though, right? So I think it's okay, but at first I was like, man, are we ready for this? But it just looks like Japanese. It's fine.
Right on. Well, I'm sure that'll be a fun project to look forward to. So for Gen 3, I know you had 40% of the proceeds going to or being donated to a nonprofit called Every Shelter. Can you talk to us just a little bit about the charity and the organization and why you chose them?
Absolutely. So Every Shelter is a Houston-based nonprofit And the owner, there's actually a co-founder, Scott Key, is a guy that I met, and I have basically I work with 3D printers a lot, and he and I have this really cool relationship with this awesome tool that I basically have co-owned with him. But I get to go to his nonprofit, like his offices, and see what they're doing. And he like sits me down. He shows me these like prototypes of these things that he's building to like basically stamp out of steel so that he can build these structures out of bamboo for refugees. And I mean, just like, and of course I follow him on Instagram, every shelter on Instagram. But it's every time I see what he's doing, I'm just like, man, this guy's got a passion for helping people. He'll go as far as it takes to, like to make these things happen for. And most of the people he's helping are refugees of war, but there's also people that are refugees from like natural disasters and things like that. And I just see how hard he works, and how like one person can make an impact like that. And so I was compelled to approach him and say, hey, this might sound crazy, but would you be willing to, have an ETH account and take donations in Ethereum? And he was like, definitely. He was like, look, you're coming to me at probably, one of the most difficult times, because, apparently through COVID, it's been real hard for them to raise money and to get donations and things. And so they've been struggling. He's like, I'll take it in Ethereum. I'll take it in whatever. And so I sent him that PDF that I can't remember who put it together. Was it Druid? Basically a PDF that sort of gets people up and running.
Yeah, that was Druid.
Yeah, so I sent him that, and he got his account up and running in no time. He was like, here it is. And I sent it. I basically put that in the contract. So the contract says 40% of proceeds go to that account. And then he's been texting me like ever since, kind of being like, dude, I can't believe this.
Wow.
Dude, I can't believe it. Like, look at it now. Like, dude, like Ethereum's new to him, So it's like, it's a whole awesome thing. And he's like, everybody needs to have, like, every nonprofit needs to have these accounts and be able to accept donations this way. And so like, I mean, I just love what he's doing. And he also has another co-founder who they're both architects, or they graduated with a degree in architecture, but so they have all these really cool skills and all these cool tools at their disposal, and they're just doing cool things with what they know, and that's really awesome. So
that's very cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a win-win for everyone. It's like the organization, they're benefiting from that, receiving donation, and then they're also learning about the blockchain. They're learning about generative art. It's like it's just a win-win for everyone. I think it's so cool when artists are giving back to the community. So it's such a great thing to do.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, there's one more question, and then I'd love to transition to, we can do the Squiggle giveaway. Obviously, the Sotheby's, that's going to be this week. And obviously the Genesis piece is included into the lot of 19 art block mints. Where were you when you first heard about your piece being included into Sotheby's? And like, did Snowfro tell you, or did I'm just curious, can you set it up for us?
I think I basically learned, through the chat when it was posted in what channel was that? The in the Artist Lounge. Mm-hmm. Jeff said, "Hey, I got this crazy announcement coming soon." At first, I thought, okay, like what could possibly be this announcement? And I thought maybe it was like Eric's gonna mint a Squiggle for all the curated artists or something. I thought that maybe that's what the announcement was, but no, it turns out that it was the Sotheby's thing, and I don't. I just like, first off, I can't believe it. Like,
Yeah.
it's a dream come true for me as an artist, and for any artist, I think, just to have a work at that level. And I can't say for sure like how I truly feel about it, because it's sort of controversial. Like, if I talk to my friends about it, they're like, you know, they're like, hey man, that's not fair. you know, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is. Because it's just like, how do you go from like here to there so quick? And it's just incredible. And
Well, you're helping pave the way. You and Snowfro, Jeff, and everyone at Art Blocks is like paving the way for generative artists, and also just artists in general. It's just this new like NFTs and the Ethereum blockchain. This is, you guys are like helping
Right.
get that out there to the public.
Exactly, and it totally makes sense. Especially if you, like I said before, you look at the art history, you see what we're doing here, and you realize that this is a step, in what was meant to happen. Like, this was meant to happen, and it's happening now, and we are the ones that are doing it here. So like, we're at the right place at the right time with the right people with the right skills, and that's like, I guess that's how history gets made. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, and it's just awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all the stars are aligning, and I don't think this is going to be the last time that generative art is going to be in a big auction house. I think this is only the beginning. So I think, like I said, you're paving the way, and I think the future is looking bright for Art Blocks, obviously, and for generative artists like yourself. So
for sure, I can't wait to see what comes.
Yeah, we're really excited. We're gonna open up the Live Mints channel on Discord, and we're gonna kind of do something fun. Just have the artists, people from the community jump in, and for the last half hour of the bidding, and just have fun and celebrate this huge accomplishment.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I'm excited.
So now I want to, we have about 10 minutes left. I'd love to, I'm going to throw the bot inside the Discord chat for a Squiggle giveaway. So make sure you click on the ta-da emoji over there, and you can get entered in. There's 3 minutes total. So once that 3 minutes is up, it'll automatically pump out a winner. So definitely look forward to that. Snowfro, I don't know, do you have any announcements? I think now would be a good time if you have any. I don't know if there's like a curated artist that you want to announce, or if you want to wait till. I'm not sure what your schedule is, but I don't know if you have any information you'd love to just share with the community.
I didn't prepare much for tonight, and I was actually just kind of excited to listen to Daniel and Loren talk. There's a bunch of stuff happening in the background, but it's all stuff that I don't really get to talk about. But it's exciting, and hopefully we'll start getting to tease and to share some stuff here pretty soon. But I get questions about the new website pretty often, and Ben Y is doing an incredible job. I keep getting updates on it, and it's great. I think everyone's going to really enjoy it. I think, obviously, like the first time you see something new, it's going to be like, whoa, this is very different, but it's so much better organized. Being able to sort on the site, being able to see all of the mints in one place, lazy scrolling, all of these things are going to make it so much better of an experience. So we're really excited about that. And I guess we just picked up another, what was it, 2,500 tons of carbon offset credits. Okay. So we're actually working with a blockchain native company called Offsetera, which a lot of you guys have probably heard of before, but they let me pay in USDC, which is just already so far ahead of working with all the other offset companies that we worked with. Their pricing was incredibly fair, which there was always this fear, whoa, and it worked too. There was always this fear that working with like a blockchain company, everything's like double the price and triple the price, and so We just offset some credits in Brazil, and I believe Turkey or India. I can't remember. I got to look it up. And then they're great because they're crypto native, and they're going to have like their own little kind of status page on their website for all of the stuff that Artblocks is offsetting as well. So instead of us kind of, we're pretty humble about, I don't like these press releases. It's like, all these companies are doing these press releases for their offsets as if it's like a solution, and it's definitely not a solution. It's definitely a step in the right direction, and we're going to be more humble than that. But the fact that they're going to put on their website and kind of, give us a little bit of credit for the effort we're doing is pretty awesome too. Like we're pretty excited about that. Pretty pleased. So looks like somebody might have.
It looks like Luke won. That's actually my friend who's helping me put this together. So I think it's very deserving that he gets a squiggle, and congrats.
Man, go Luke.
That's awesome.
Sweet. Red.
It's funny because I did a test of this inside this chat earlier, and
he won.
He won. There's like only 5 people because it was just a test, but that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Congrats. Did you?
Luke,
Luke,
send me your ETH address, Luke.
Yeah, if you want to post that on there.
Oh man, and
do you want me to look it up?
Project is minting.
No, I'll find it. Is it the same? Okay, I'm gonna look it up because I sent him something a couple days ago. So give me one moment.
My setup's slow to crap at the moment.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of behind scenes stuff. He can't get up from his computer right now, which is not a problem.
Hey, and on Alexis's project, it's very resource intensive, and we've been tinkering with it, but we haven't been able to test it on Rinkeby. So if it doesn't render today, everyone just be patient, and I'm going to go through and re-render everything later tonight. So we're working for a solution on it, but the live view will work. Your art is safe, and it's crazy. It's super impressive. So enjoy that, and congrats, Alexis. It's amazing stuff as usual.
All right, I'm gonna look for Luke's wallet because he's at his computer on a different computer right now. But this is a heavily debated topic. We had this on Friday. I want to ask this to DanDan. In that mug earlier, was that coffee or was that tea?
It's water.
Oh, it's water.
Water.
Oh man.
I'm in an art studio with no AC, and it's hot in here, and yeah, I gotta hydrate.
Right on. No problem at all.
Good question.
And then, while I look for Luke's wallet, what's one piece of advice you would offer to someone who wants to be a generative artist or apply for something on Artblocks?
Well, if somebody wants to be a generative artist, they need to learn to code. I know that's a big hurdle for a lot of people, but it takes at most a couple of months, and in 6 months you can be pretty good at coding. If you really put your mind to it, you put your heart to it, and you practice and practice and practice. If you want to get on Artblocks, I think you just have to apply, come prepared with the project. And I think that and you have to correct me if I'm wrong about this, Eric, but you guys are, you have an eye towards projects that are ready to deploy. They're complete, and somebody who applies might be able to, to get right in.
Cool. Well, we appreciate that. I don't know if you saw that, Snowfro, but I sent Luke's wallet.
Oh, there we go. Yep. All right, OX Dad. Here we go. Wait, that is Luke's wallet, right? Like, come on,
It's not mine.
Okay. No, I just mean it's just like a random ETH address that I picked up on that. All right, let's see what we get. Wow, gas is all the way up to 21. It was 16 when we started.
It's way too high.
All right, let's see what happens. The servers are probably like choking on
The messenger.
The messenger. So you'll have to look at the.
Those
Can you see the
mints.
shared screen?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, cool.
See that now.
See if it. I bet you messengers added a couple basis points on our gas. Oh, there we go. All right.
Nice.
Wow, that's like a pretty high. That's a lot of spread. That goes up pretty high.
That's
Also, very crypto friendly upward swing. Yeah, we'll take that as symbolic, Luke. Thank you.
Cool. DanDan, before we head out, is there anything you want to share, like any other projects you're working on that you'll have to share with the community?
You guys are curious about that thing in my background. It's actually it's a sculpture from my thesis exhibition. It's a 3D printed Sphinx. My exhibition was canceled due to COVID, so it never got shown, and now it just lives here in my studio, and I don't know what to do with it. So I think I might have an opportunity to exhibit that along with some other grad school work coming up. I have an exhibition in July at a gallery here in Houston, and I'll probably be showing some sculpture and debatable whether my NFT digital artwork is going to make it into this sort of exhibition, because then I'd have to share a cut with the gallerist. So it doesn't make sense. Right?
Well, you'll have to keep us posted.
Yeah, for sure. I'll put little pics here and there on Discord.
Awesome. Cool. Well, DanDan, DCA, appreciate you being here today. This has been an excellent and fun conversation with you. For Loren Bednar, that was here earlier, to talk about their project Traversals, and then obviously Snowfro, for hosting us and putting this all together for Art Blocks, and we obviously love being here. I don't know if you have anything else you'd love to say, Snowfro, before we head out.
Thank you to you, Luke. You're doing an awesome job. Lauren, Danny, all the artists, all the community members. It continues to be surreal. It still is surreal every day.
Yeah.
So, thank you, everybody. Our Blocks folks have been awesome. Jeff, Ben, Hannah, man. I mean, it's been great. It's been crazy good.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to Sotheby's this week. I know that's going to be just kicking things off, and it's over the course of, I think, was it 7 days or 10 days?
I think it's 7 days. Yeah,
7
it
days.
ends on Thursday, the 10th.
Okay.
Which is actually when the Art Blocks team is getting together for the first time. We're meeting out in Marfa.
Oh, great.
To kind of get to meet in real life, just because this is a digital company. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it. And so we'll either, hopefully we'll be drinking a bunch of celebratory beers and stuff. So yeah.
Cool. Well, we look forward to, hearing about you guys getting together, and also the Sotheby's, like the final outcome, and just thank you to everyone for being here, everyone in the community. For everyone who's watching right now, on my left side over here, you'll see the Discord channel. That's where a lot of the community lives. So if you're interested in being a part of Art Blocks community, interacting with the artists, all that, in the description of this YouTube video, there is a link to the Discord. And it's honestly the best community I've ever been a part of. And it's spearheaded obviously by Jeff and Snowfro and a lot of other great people, all the artists. And, if you're interested in learning about generative art, or you are a generative art artist and you want to be potentially apply for getting your project on Art Blocks, just jump on Discord. People are here to help you. And that's all I have to say. And we appreciate all of our guests, Snowfro. Cool. We love you guys. Oh,
quick note.
Yeah.
Just quick note. Jeff just gently reminded me that we don't have a curated drop this week. We're going to take a break this week with all the Sotheby stuff.
Great.
We have some crazy stuff coming after that, and we're gonna take a little breather, work on some infrastructure, so look for nothing this week other than beautiful playground and factory projects to to fill your minting delights with. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, you're totally fine. I appreciate. I was definitely interested in learning, but yeah, thanks again for everyone for being here, for the community. Take care of each other, and we'll see you next week. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.